Hi there and welcome to Silverstone. You're going to have a fantastic day. You've made a great choice with the UK's only Grand Prix circuit and you're just going to have the best time. So please watch this video in full. It's designed to replace the normal safety briefing on the day. So please make sure you just watch it through and get some tips about what's going to happen. There's a lot of new measures we've had to put in place to stay in line with government safety guidelines. And so just please make sure you listen through and you are adhering to what we're asking, please. Now, temperature checks, as you arrive at the gatehouse staff will be carrying out temperature checks on you and anyone travelling with you in your vehicle. That may take a little bit longer than usual, so please allow that extra few minutes on your journey time just to make sure you get through the gatehouse and you can get in safely. You'll find hand sanitizer stations all around the venue here. Please make use of them, and please also make use of social distancing guidelines from the government to understand where you need to be and keeping apart from people. We'll have mask zones. They're designed to be worn mainly around catering facilities and those kinds of things, but if you see signs saying this is a mask zone, please ensure you adhere to that, and again, within those zones, please adhere to government guidelines on social distancing. Now, prior to the event, if you have any symptoms of COVID-19, a high temperature, loss of taste, loss of smell, anything along those lines, please do not attend the event. Please seek medical advice and follow the government guidelines. If in the 3 weeks prior to the event you've come into contact with anyone who's had symptoms or has been diagnosed with COVID-19, again, please do not travel to the event. Also, if you live in a lockdown area that Public Health England have designated, you are not allowed to travel for leisure purposes. So please, again, do not travel to the venue. Go onto our website for details of how we can best work that for you and where we can get you rebooked onto another day. Now, Silverstone team here, we've worked really hard to make sure we give you the best possible day and to bring you the extras that are associated with the Grand Prix circuit, such as Silverstone. We can give you tuition, we'll be able to film you on the day. We've also got leather hire available for you. So if you'd like any of that, if you just want to make yourself aware at sign on, make yourself known to the team there and we'll get that booked in for you. It can also be booked during the day, get yourself settled in. The key thing is we have instructors on the day, please use the Silverstone colleagues. We're here to support you to make sure you have the best day. Now, our catering facilities are back open, but there may be a restriction on the menu in some of them, and also there may be some restrictions on one-way sort of traffic systems. So again, please put your mask on, please make sure you're adhering to social distancing, please make sure you're keeping everyone as safe as possible while passing through those communal areas. Now, if at any point during the day you feel unwell, or you think you need medical attention, or you feel you may have some symptoms of COVID-19, please phone us. Please use 01327 320 254 and make that known to the staff here. Now, once you've made your way through the gatehouse and you're making your way to the correct paddock, you'll be greeted by Silverstone colleagues at the gate into that paddock. Now, they're there to point you in the direction of the garage you need to be in. Once into that garage, please make sure you're maintaining social distancing. Leave some space between yourself and the bikes next to you. Plenty of fresh air in there. Please make sure you're nice and safe. Once the bike's unloaded and you're happy, if you make your way down to sign on, you'll need your DVLA license or you will need an ACU license. Make your way down to sign on in your relevant group, which will be marked as white, blue or red. And that starts from 07:15 hours. Now, we will be carrying out an extra novice group briefing just before you go out on track, and also there'll be a video briefing just to make sure you're aware of what is going on. We group you based on the information you've given. Now, that may not always work perfectly, but it does nearly all of the time. So whatever information you give us is how we group you to get you into the correct group. Now, once you've signed on and you've got your breakfast voucher and you're all ready to go, it's always worth carrying out some bike checks. Go back, have you got enough fuel? Have you checked your tyre pressures? Are the wheel spindles tight? Are your clip-ons tight? All of those kinds of things. You're about to join the UK's only Grand Prix circuit. It's very, very fast and very wide. So make sure your bike's in tip-top condition. Now, as your groups go out, you'll be called over the tannoy to go out, and then we'll do some sighting laps in the morning and in the afternoon. In the morning, we'll let you know how many sighting laps you're doing based on the circuit. It'll be at a controlled pace behind the instructors, and yellow lights and flags will be displayed all around the circuit to say you are doing your sighting laps. Please don't overtake. Use that time to make sure your bike's right, make sure you feel right. See how the circuit goes, especially if you're new to it, or refresh yourself with how it's going. And then at the end of those laps, you'll be brought in by your instructor, and that is to show you where the entrance to pit lane is, because there are 2 pit lane entries here at Silverstone, so we want to get you into the correct pit lane. So use that time to get yourself back and familiar. Now, as soon as you've done that, you'll travel down pit lane, you will be released out for your first session. Now, warm your tyres up. It's always key on a motorbike. Even if they've been in warmers, they may have dropped off. Please don't be hitting that first corner flat out. There's a lot of time in your sessions. Make sure there's plenty of heat in your tyres and you've got plenty of grip. When you're out on track as well, specifically if it's one of your earlier track days, there's no need for lifesavers. You shouldn't be looking over your shoulders. You should always be looking forward. In the same vein, if you can turn your mirrors in or tape them up, or even better, take them off. And the reason we ask you to do that is because if you're tipping into a corner and you see a bike, a flash of headlight behind you, your automatic reaction is to think that bike is coming through. And so you will change your line. And that's not what we want you to do at that point. The person behind is to keep you safe. They can see your line. You changing your line at that point could cause an incident. So please, just turn your mirrors in, tape them up. Overtaking, this is a racetrack. Either side is absolutely fine. However you want to do it is absolutely fine. All we ask is that you leave 6 feet between you and any other rider. So it's a very wide track, lots of space. There's no need to be brushing someone's handlebars and frightening the life out of them. We just need you nice and safe. And similarly, if the person in front has committed to the apex of a corner, that is their apex. Please do not dive up the inside and force them offline. There are cameras all around the circuit here. If that is reported, we will look at what's happened on camera and we may be having a chat. So please look after each other, look after yourself, just make sure your overtaking is nice and safe. Now, lights and flags. Now, I touched on the yellow lights that will be displayed during your sighting laps. If the yellow lights and flags come on mid-session, that means you are coming up on some sort of incident. Now, that could be anything. That could be, it doesn't have to be a stopped rider. That could be a knee slider's fallen off, a bit of baffles fallen out, something along that lines. You just need to be aware you are coming up on something. So please moderate your speed. Don't hit the brakes really hard. Moderate your speed and be aware you're coming up on something. If those lights and flags then turn red, that means we've assessed the situation. We cannot safely recover whatever that incident is without stopping the session and getting everybody off track. So make your way back in, knock your speed off, 60-70% of your speed, not super slow, not super fast. Get yourself safely back into pit lane, where the pit lane marshal will give you further instructions as to whether we're restarting your session or we bolt a bit of time onto your next session. Another flag you may see will be the black flag. Now, this may be the naughty boy flag, or it could be there's something wrong with your bike. So if you see the black flag waved at you and pointed at you, first thing to do is have a quick check. Does the bike feel right? Is everything, is there smoke coming out of the back of it? If there is, get yourself off safely to the side of the circuit and get yourself over the barrier. But if the bike feels right and everything feels good, then potentially we just need a chat. So make your way into pit lane. You'll be stopped at the end of pit lane and someone will have a word with you. Now, the red and yellow flags, and this is horizontal lines, these are the limited adhesion flags and quite critical for motorcyclists, as we know. So this could tell you are coming up on a limited adhesion section. Now, here at Silverstone, it's a vast complex. It is known we could be having a little rain shower at one end of the circuit and it's perfectly dry at the other. So just look for those signs. You can smell the rain in the air. You'll see the limited adhesion flag. You may be coming up on a wet corner and you may be on super dry tyres. Or we may have had an incident earlier in the day and it's your first session out. We've cleared that up, of course, but there may be concrete dust or some sort of fluids that we've had to clean up, and it's to make you aware that is there. Now, finally, the checkered flag. And the key piece here is for you guys to look out for that checkered flag. We try and display them on at least 3 places. We always display them on 2, which gives you several opportunities to see that checkered flag. Once you've seen that, 60-70% of your speed again, back into pit lane and allow the next session to go. There's nothing worse, especially on a hot day, than a group of riders sitting in pit lane and someone hasn't seen the checkered flag and they're just going round and round. So please, you know when your session's starting to end, have a look for that flag and get yourself back into pit lane. Now, if you do see an incident out on track, please do not stop. Even if this is a friend, a colleague, a partner, do not stop out on track. Only race control can see how many bikes are bearing down on you and at what speed. So it's not safe for you to park your bike and run to an incident. Our marshals here, we have paramedics, we have fire marshals, everybody's trained to deal with these situations. The instructors have all done safety courses on what to do in these situations. We are in the best place to deal with that. Unfortunately, you will just be a hindrance because your bike in the track alone would be a problem for us. So please do not stop. Get yourself back into pit lane. If you have had the incident on track, please again make sure, even if it's minor, you've been checked by a medic and you've been signed off as fit. Even if you feel okay, you may have had a bump test. Please make sure you're checked by a medic. Now, when everybody's back in pit lane is limited speed. There are pedestrians walking about, there are bikes coming out of garages. So please keep your speed down in pit lane. 10-15 miles an hour is plenty. There's no need to speed down pit lane. Now, cameras. We don't allow cameras fastened to the body. They create a punch point if it's on the chest or on the helmet. So please, cameras, GoPros, those kinds of things, securely fastened to the bike. Helmets at all times, please. So even if you're going to the fuel station or you're trying to bump start your bike, it's perfectly possible to fall off a motorbike at 2 miles an hour. There's a lot of industrial traffic around, bin lorries, tractors, those kinds of things in the paddock and on the access roads, so please make sure your helmet is on at all times. Now, leathers must be 2-piece, zipped together, or they must be 1-piece race leathers. No textiles, and they must zip together. We don't want to see any skin available if there was to be an unfortunate slide. Noise, as with all UK tracks, we have to monitor our noise, and so the noise limits are 102 drive-by and 105 static. Please make sure your vehicle adheres to those. We just need to make sure that everyone is keeping up. There are monitors around the circuit. We don't want to be having to pull anyone. Please make sure your baffle is in if you're worried about it at any point. And lastly, no children under 16 in the pit lane. There's a lot of movements, a lot of bikes. So there's a lot of good spectator points around Silverstone. So please, no children under 16 in the pit lane. Now, on the day, we know you're going to be excited. We know there's going to be some nerves jangling, even for long-term track day people. But it's important you keep hydrated all through the day. If you start to get a headache mid-morning or towards lunchtime, there's not enough fluids going in. You will use an awful lot of concentration around here, so please make sure you keep hydrated. Also, eat. Make sure you're eating if you can. Novices, understand in the morning you may not feel like it, but as you settle down, make sure you're getting plenty of fluids in. And similarly with the bike. If your bike you think does 100 miles to the gallon, or sorry, to the tank, on the roads, you will not get anywhere near that around here. So please make sure you're keeping an eye on the bike fuel. There's 2 or 3 very, very fast straights here. You do not want to run out of fuel on any of those. Now, we have some support mechanisms here. So Pickman, they're available online the night or the day after your session. You'll be able to go online and buy your pictures from the day. We also have support from Whole Beach Motor Tyres. They're here with a big yellow truck out in the paddock. They'll get you fresh tyres should you need them. We'll be able to answer any queries. Please use our partners, use our catering facilities, but most of all, just have a great day here at Silverstone. Novices, now this is the exciting part. We know you're going to be nervous. We know this is going to be your first track day, and we know you've probably not slept for a couple of days, but we're here to make your day safe. It's going to be enjoyable. You're going to have the best day. So on the day, once you've arrived and unloaded your bike, get yourself down to the sign-on area, make sure you get your wristband. And then once you're all set up, get your breakfast, try and have some fluids, try and have some food. Get yourself back to your bike and conduct your visual checks. Make sure you're happy. What will happen is the red group will go out first and they'll be called over the tannoy and you'll be able to watch that and what happens with their sighting laps. Then the blue group will do the same and then your group will be called. At that point, helmets on, helmets fastened, make your way into pit lane, complete your sighting laps, and then when you come back in, you'll be released out on your own. Take your time, warm your tyres up, there is no pressure. The instructors are all here to help. We will show you the lines, we'll show you which way to go. Always worth watching a video in advance on YouTube if you like, just to have a little idea where the circuit's going and what you need to do for it. On the day, take plenty of time as you go through that first session though. Don't try and ride beyond your limits. Make sure your tyres are warm, make sure your bike feels good, make sure all of those things are in place, and then come back. There'll be little sessions during the day, socially distanced of course with masks on, but we'll be looking at body position, we'll be looking at braking points and apexes, so feel free to attend those. They're not compulsory, but they're there to try and help you enjoy the best of your day. If you do want a session with an instructor, grab your host instructor. They'll be in your garages, they will be the people who sign you on. It's just about making sure you get the best out of your day. We want you to go home happy and we want you to come back and see us. So please ask, please have a great day.